Hi friends! This week we've been using analogies from music to think about our life and faith. We started with keynotes, those foundational principles that shape our attitudes, words, and behaviors. Yesterday, I suggested to you the practice of syncopation, or noticing God in the offbeats, not just in the big and main events of our life. Today, I want to think with you about the practice of improvisation. Improvisation is playing an old standard in a new way. It's the freedom to do something new in the context of something old. It's respecting tradition while at the same time leaving your own personal mark. Something like this. In terms of faith, improvisation means that we build on the experiences of others and on the traditions of the church, and yet we find our own personal experiences and expressions. We don't just copy someone else's spirituality, but we have the freedom to find our own. To improvise is to be creative both in the ways that we experience and discover God, and in the ways that we apply our faith to everyday life. Turning again to the 8th chapter of the Gospel of Luke, in which the story of Jairus' sick daughter is interwoven with the story of the woman who touched the hem of Jesus' garment. It was surely a high and holy moment when Jesus healed the woman of her bleeding. And I'm sure that Jesus and the disciples and the crowd were celebrating her faith and her healing. Jesus did in that moment what 12 years of doctors and medicine couldn't accomplish. In the midst of that celebration, word came to Jairus, "Your daughter is dead. Do not trouble the teacher any longer." Jesus was too late. Now, I imagine that Jairus experienced a huge wave of sorrow and hopelessness. Maybe he was angry and resentful toward the woman for stealing his miracle. Maybe he felt guilt or doubt or inadequacy that his faith wasn't as strong as this woman's who pushed through the crowd to touch Jesus. In the midst of the chaos of those emotions, Jesus improvises. He says, "Do not fear, do not weep, for she is not dead but sleeping." And they laughed at him, knowing that she was dead. But he took her by the hand and called out, "Child, get up." Her spirit returned, and she got up at once. Then Jesus directed them to give her something to eat. Jesus took the old song of healing and played it in a new way called resurrection. Jesus took the old song of faith and played it in a new way called grace. Jesus improvised and left his mark on the song of salvation. Doubt no longer precludes us from faith, and death no longer precludes us from life. When we accept the freedom and the power that God gives us to improvise, to be creative in our search for and expression of faith, then we are likely to find God in some unexpected places, even in doubt, even in death, and even in the midst of our everyday life. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you again soon.